and welcome to this video blog where I'm going to offer some tips to support spiritual awakening. I've written some ideas I can offer you that are not exactly sequential, but I've tried my best to do it in a sequential way. Remember that these are just few tips. There are thousands of options as to how you can offer yourself opportunity to spiritually awaken. Now, if you've come to this video, I'm sure that you are already in some sort of search, in some sort of desire to awaken. So I hope what I offer you can give you some hints. I'm not going to give you thousands of them, obviously, but some that can apply to most people in one way or another. The way you choose to manifest and use the tools, it's up to you. But there are certain things that are very helpful when somebody wants to really start this process of spiritual awakening and inner contact with your essential spiritual self. So the first thing, wherever we are, and this doesn't apply only when you start, but in every part of the process, it's very important to acknowledge and recognize how is your relationship to yourself and to life. Where are you in this relationship? And once you acknowledge where you are in relationship to you, are you happy, are you not happy, do you feel fulfilled or not, wherever you are, then you can start connecting with yourself in a deeper way, because you are asking those questions to yourself, and this helps to create a better relationship with where you stand at every moment of your process. So this is something that is important to ask in different stages. And to begin with, just acknowledge where you are in your life in relationship to yourself and life. Then you can start using some techniques that are very helpful, contemplation techniques, meditation, introspection. If you have difficulty in meditating, you're not alone. Most people, when they start, have difficulties to meditate, because our mind is like a monkey, a very, very menace monkey that is always in the move and wanting attention. So that is how much we can find out about how we are not in control of ourselves, because the thoughts control us more than we can control the thoughts. So when you start meditating or doing some sort of introspection or inner contemplation, noticing the noise of the thoughts is very important. And then you actually have to teach yourself how to calm them down and be present in the process, because the thoughts that you have are just a reflection of something that is moving inside. You see, the ego has several tools with which it manifests in life, and that's the body, thoughts, and emotions. So those are the major tools of the ego. And so when we are aware of our thoughts, our feelings, and how we feel in our body, we can become more aware of how the ego works through our personality. Just remember that personality comes from the word persona, which means mask. The personality is the mask of the ego. And so as we start working inside, we learn to see how this personality works, and we start understanding, that we are not what we think, we are not what we feel, essentially. That the feelings and the thoughts that we have are just a reflection of some process that we are in relationship to ourselves and to life. And so be patient when you start meditating, because to learn how to meditate and to enter in these profound states of void or inner silence or just peace takes a while to practice, takes a while until we actually learn to control the thoughts and are able to calm our inner movement. You can also start some sort of physical practice like classic yoga, qigong, tai chi, which are energy practices that can help us understand the energy movement in our bodies, and also helps us to create some sort of discipline of focused attention, which is very, very important in this process, so that we can start learning the art of discernment. See, when we learn how the energy moves and we start recognizing the energy, then little by little we are able to discern between how energy manifests and how it feels, and the impact of our thoughts and our emotions and things like that. Also, for people that cannot actually concentrate very well, they can use mantras, because mantras are very helpful to help the mind connect to just the moment. So one initial mantra that is very, very easy to use is the Om. And when you just close your eyes and go inside and connect to be present with the mantra, you go Om, and are very present with the vibration, and you're gonna feel the vibration in your third eye, in your mouth, in your face. And this is very powerful because it moves the energy that eventually, if you are disciplined in doing this, will help really align with the Kundalini energy. Just remember that this is a continuous process, that you acquire higher levels of awareness the more you get in this relationship with yourself. We are so accustomed to believe that we are what we are, that we don't differentiate between what we have learned to be and who we really are. There's a big difference. What we've learned to be is the conditioning that we have inherited from our society, family, modern world, and everything like that. And what we are is something that we need to rediscover, to reconnect by doing a process of discernment, which is the most important tool in the inner processes, so we can actually see how the personality and the ego manifests, how the soul talks to us, how the soul connects to us, how it talks to us, which is very different and quite opposite. So just be aware that there is no finish line to reach when you are in the process of inner awakening. There is a continuous process of awakening, that you awaken to a certain dimension of consciousness, and then there's more and more and more, and who knows when it finishes. So just do a disciplined practice that will help you in the process. Another option is to read and support your practice with very deep books. I'm not going to refer you to books. That's something that you can open up to research. But my suggestion is that you research and look for books once you have had an experience that you don't understand. Because once you have the experience, then you can research, and then you can actually connect the dots. But if you read and you influence the experience, it might be just a response. It must be a reaction from the ego wanting to make us believe that we are having some sort of experience. Because the ego has such a grip over us, a total control over our lives. And until we don't know how it works, until we don't differentiate the thoughts, the feelings, how it affects our body, and to realize how much power it has and how we can learn to go beyond the bubble of our ego, well, it's going to be a major control over what we believe and what we think, what we feel, and what we do in life. So it's just a suggestion. You can read the book and then have an experience. That's okay too, but I'm just suggesting that it is better when the process comes in a natural way. Another tip I can offer is to go into nature. Walk barefoot, put your feet on the ground, on the cold rivers, walk in the ocean and the seashore. Just connect with nature, because we live in such a cement world in the cities that we've lost contact with nature, and that has made us lose contact with our own nature as well. Nature is very, very powerful, and I'm sure you know, once you go into nature and are able to silence yourself and connect with nature, you are probably able to just be present in everything you do when you're in nature. We as rational human beings have a need to label things. So if I see a bird, I'm going to say, oh, it's a hummingbird, and so I'm going to label it, and then I'm going to look at it from the labeling. So one thing we need to do is to just be in the experience without labels. If I look at the tree, I know it's a tree, but try to unlabel everything, just to be present and connect with what is. That helps us not only to be present, but to learn the essence of the things we are connecting to without a conditioned mind. The conditioning of the mind is really, really so strong, and it determines so much in our life that we actually have to let go of the conditioning. We have to give ourselves the opportunity to unlearn what we have learned. Also, I suggest that being humble with our perceptions is very important, because many people, when they start the inner process and they start feeling things, suddenly they believe that's all the soul and that's all the inner voice talking, and it's not true. We have to go through many, many layers of inner voices governed by the ego before we tap into the real, deep and silent voice of the soul. Actually, the soul and the ego manifest and communicate in extremely opposite ways. Only when we are silent in our minds, we can tap into a sense. We can hear one word, or we can feel something that the soul is giving us, and identify with the abstract mind what is it trying to convey. Whereas the ego needs a rational, you see, the ego works with rational mind. The soul works with abstract mind. So it's quite different, quite the opposite. And let's see what else I have here. Oh, let's see. Okay, be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the process. We need to open up, and the opening process takes a long time. A long time. The ideal is that we teach ourselves to break our own limitations, because it is easy for us to stay in the comfort zone, and that's where we want to be. We don't want to suffer. We don't want to face conflicts. We don't want to recognize that we are mistaken about what we think we are, by realizing that it is very different from what we think we are. So just be patient. Be very patient, and remember that many people that meditate for years never leave their mental bubble. We need to find our own way, however you go through, to break through our mental bubbles and mental restrictions. In that way, we are going to experience something further. Don't stay in one thing believing that's it. There's always more. So we need to break the bubbles of our mind to open to greater awareness. Another thing that I suggest is to become an observer of your behavior. Observe how you feel, how you think, and ask yourself, where is this coming from? Where is this feeling coming from? If you feel insecure, if you feel jealous, if you feel envy, if you feel the need to be in power of something, just ask yourself, where is this coming from? What am I looking for with this attitude and with this feeling? And once you ask yourself, the answers might take a while to come, but they will come if you insist in trying to understand, why do I feel this way? See, many people don't go into the inner path of awakening because there's a lot of work to do. And questioning yourself is a major ingredient in this process, because otherwise you're just going to take everything for granted, and it's not going to take you anywhere if you just believe that things are as they are without understanding where they're coming from. So questioning yourself is important, so you learn how to discern. Remember, discernment is the most powerful tool in your inner process, and that has to be developed. It just doesn't come because you think you are differentiating things. Discernment is deeper than just differentiating. It goes much, much deeper. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, okay, if you are very lost and don't know how to start your process, well, it's okay to look for some guidance. We are here to help each other, and we are all teachers to everybody else, and we are also students from everybody else. Yet, one suggestion about finding guides or following any sort of gurus, teachers, or guides: don't give your power away. Don't give your power away. You can find a guru if you want to, or any kind of teacher. Okay, they are here to help us find tools, not to tell us what to do. They can give us tools so we can find a way to use those tools in our process. But if you give your power to that person, you're going to lose yourself on the process. You're going to lose yourself if you give your power to others. That is something that we need to bring back to ourselves. I have the power to decide whether I want to believe in what this person is saying or do what this person is saying. Okay? Just be mindful of that about teachers and other things like that. Let me see if I have something else. Oh, okay. One of the things that we need to learn is detachment in this process, no? Because we need to detach from the conditioning and detach from all the structures that and belief systems that we have created, so we can let the essential spiritual nature flourish. In this process, basically, I believe that the ego is an amazing tool to awaken, because once we start a process of taming the ego, we allow the energy of the soul to rise or to come down, to manifest through ourselves, because we are taming the ego, so the energy of the soul can come through in a clearer way. And I invite you, I just recently published a book called Twin Flames, that is not only about twin flames. It's a book, I practice psychology and psychosynthesis, so I offer some chapters about the soul from the psychosynthesis perspective, and also there are many tools that I offer in the book that can be of help to anybody besides understanding the stories or what's behind the twin flame journey. So you can find the book in Amazon, and you can contact us if you have any questions about it. And I hope these tools, there are much more, there's many more tools that you can use in your path, but these are just some tips that I hope have been helpful for you in this process. And remember that they are tips. The way you use them is what makes the difference in each person's path. Thank you. I hope you subscribe to our bilingual YouTube channel and follow us in our social media. Until the next one. Bye bye.